Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the daily snack from Recovery Concepts. Tuesday, March 3rd. Hope everybody's good. Give me just a minute here. I'm just getting woke up. Hope y'all had a great Monday. I don't mind Mondays these days. They used to not be some of my favorite days. It's amazing what I could do to myself in the course of a weekend. All right. Reading out of God Grant Me again. Liking this book. See which way we go today. March 3rd. An anonymous quote. Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Nice. We addicts need to be very careful when we feel worried because it can lead to relapse. So how can we stop worrying? We can take some clear steps. First, we need to determine the root of our worry. If necessary, it may help to write down our problem. Second, we should answer these questions. How likely is this problem how likely is it this problem will actually happen? How serious is the problem? How much control do we have over it? Third, we need to make a plan. What can we do about the problem? What would this action solve? Sometimes the best thing we can do is let go. Fourth, we should talk it over with our sponsor, someone who has faced worry and stays sober. When we take these steps, we usually learn one of two things. There is a smarter way to handle the problem, or there is nothing we can do about it. Prayer for the day. This one's familiar. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Today's action. If I have a worry, I will follow the steps above. If I am not worried today, I will call my sponsor and talk about how the serenity prayer helps me avoid worry. And if you've been to meetings, you've been in 12-step stuff, you've heard the serenity prayer. But that last little bit of it, that's the difference. That's where the rubber hits the road for me. The wisdom to know the difference. Because my worries, I can absolutely relate to this. My worries usually typically fall into two categories. And that is something that probably has a very large possibility of not happening, rarity. Worry about, something that it would take 3 or 4 different pieces of a cog and a wheel, a gear to fall together before it could ever get that bad. It's like I will create a problem if I sit and worry about something. And the vast majority of things, for me are something I have no control over. It might worry me a little bit, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So I have to determine for myself how much of my day I'm going to, give that. I went through some health concerns before, and there was room for worry. It is reasonable to be a bit fearful and worry about stuff. But what I come to conclude is once you get to a point to where you're doing everything you can do, there's nothing left in the closet. You're doing everything you can do, and things are chugging along the best that they are, and the best that they can be. And it is what it is, so to say. I personally try to get into a position to where I determine how much of today do I give that situation. There could be a day come along where I'm going to have to give this situation a little bit more time, concern, worry, or whatever the case. I mean, gratitude, excitement. It could go, a couple of different ways. Who knows? But I have to determine how much of today I'm going to give that situation. It's not necessary to give it today. Some people could look at that possibly at like, an ostrich syndrome, sticking your head in a hole or whatever. I look at it like in my mind, there's consciously thinking there's absolutely no reason for me to give any more of today to something that I don't have to deal with today that could possibly be a negative, than what it's required. I don't know if that, I don't know, I might be rambling. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But to me, there'll be a day to deal with things. But if it doesn't have to be today, and the caveat is I'm doing everything that can be done, I would do myself a favor not living there today, if that makes sense. There'll be plenty of time to deal with whatever the situation is. That's what I've learned during some of my challenges down the road. I'm not talking about kicking the can like I used to. I spoke on that yesterday. I'm talking about rationalizing, processing, understanding the situation. But part of that understanding of the situation is that I've done everything I can do. Now I can sit in a house, in a room by myself, and worry and be concerned about things that you don't even know about, with any kind of certainty. Or I can go enjoy this day to the best of my ability. To me, that's not the ostrich syndrome. That's getting everything you can out of every day, with the realization of understanding there'll be more to deal with, but it doesn't have to be then and today. So I don't get that perfect by far. Every once in a while, I can't help but to slip a little bit into, considering and thinking about things. But being on the journey that I've been on, I also understand if I do that, there's ways to get out of that. And it's, am I going to do it, or am I going to stay there? Am I going to get out? Or am I going to stay there? And that requires sometimes maybe a phone call, maybe prayer, meditation, just a basic, reset of my day. At any point in time during my day, I can connect back with my higher power. I do it in the mornings 99.9% of the time or whatever. But if I'm my day's starting to get a little crazy or whatever, I can back up and take the first 3 steps. Bam, bam, bam. I can't, you can, and I'm going to get out of the way and let you. And that just basically just gets me back in contact with my God, and let us know that my day's starting to spiral a little bit. I think maybe I might be affecting it in a negative way. Can you please, take the wheel, please take the reins. And I back up, reset, keep my eyes open again, and figure out what I am looking at and see what I think that answer is that I'm getting. Prayer is the asking, and keeping my eye out, and meditation is the listening. Once I figure out I want to turn it back over again, I need to give it back up and keep an eye on what's going on and figure out whatever I see, how can I make it better? Where's my peace? Where's my peace of doing something? And my peace sometimes might be walking away from the situation. You never know. But anyway, I'm definitely rambling now. Y'all take good care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Please share this, tell a friend, whatever you're drawn to do, move to do. I appreciate y'all joining me, and come on back. We'll do it again Wednesday. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.